For those of you who don't know, Wayne and I have been messing around with this podcast for a little while, and he finally got it up. And I don't mean that in the sexual sense. He actually got the podcast up. And so you guys can check it out other than on my Instagram. Little Blue Hummingbird has joined. Hello, Little Blue Hummingbird. How are you tonight?
Nice.
And so the other thing I was bringing up is, and this will probably be the last time I'll mention it for a little while, I'm going to direct message some of you, but also if you guys want to direct message me, I would love that. Hello, Stitch. If you guys want to show off your garden a little bit or show me what you're doing in your garden, just direct message me. I'd love to live stream with you and see what you're doing, both whether it's an indoor or an outdoor garden. And if you have any questions, I'm not the brightest bulb in the book, but I do know a couple of things about plants after all these years.
You're smarter than you look. Thank God.
Thank you, brother.
All right. What are you drinking right now? This is the important part of drinking and thinking.
So the warm-up is I came across this Sierra Nevada yesterday. And if you guys, hello, love. If you guys haven't tried it, if you're a beer person and you like an IPA, you haven't tried this, the Hop Bullet Sierra Nevada Double IPA. I had that. I came across this yesterday. I'm like, ooh, I'm going to have one of these just as a warm-up.
Very nice. Very nice.
And then the main drink, which is still been brewing, this is called the Muddy Waters, which is bourbon and Cointreau and lemon juice.
You had me at bourbon.
Over ice. Yeah, it's a good one, man.
Nice. Nicely done.
Yeah, 4 or 5 of those and I'm done for the night. What's up, Love Cake?
I'm drinking a little Bibb and Tucker this evening.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Aged 6 years, small batch bourbon whiskey. During America's rough and tumble early days, your finest attire was referred to as a Bibb and Tucker. Bibb and Tucker bourbon is artfully crafted and patiently aged for 6 years in Tennessee. Wow. I had no idea. I didn't know that about the Bibb and Tucker, that was your finest attire.
I didn't know that at all. The things that I learned from you, it's quite amazing, actually.
Look at you. I'm supposed to learn all the alcohol things from you, yet here I was reading from a bottle. And for those wondering, this is 92 proof, batch number 21, bottle number 429. I've noticed, though, that they don't put the year on this thing. I know I got it last year because I remember when I got it. But I've always been like, how can I get one this year and then compare them to see which one's a better batch?
It won't matter. It's bourbon. It won't matter. Hey, it's my son, Rambo Cooks New York. Check out Anthony's page. He does some really cool chef stuff, and he's also a workout nut. So if you like seeing a boy flex a lot, he'll be on there.
So basically, he's a jacked up chef.
He is exactly Rambo chef. Yes. Yeah. He cooks amazing, which is mind-boggling to me. And then he is just a workout fiend. So
very nice. Oh, sorry. This Bibb and Tucker, I highly recommend this Bibb and Tucker for those who have never had it before.
So I got so with bourbon, it won't matter because bourbon is all about the barrel that it's aged in.
Okay.
It's not so much the year that it's done. So it depends on the barrel, really. Because the mash and the formula is going to be the same, and it doesn't age like wine.
Oh. So if
you have a 72-year-old aged bourbon, it doesn't matter.
Oh. Well, that's sort of disappointing.
That's okay.
Then how come the
Does
McAllister...
it taste good? Do you like it?
I like it a lot.
McAllister's not a bourbon. It's a scotch. It's different. They age it in the barrel. Plus, most people can't tell the difference. 99.9% of the scotch drinkers in the world cannot tell the difference between a 12-year-old scotch and an 18-year-old scotch.
I can
Aunt
tell.
Claire. Hello, Aunt Claire.
I can tell the difference when I have a McAllister 18 versus the McAllister 15.
Well, then you have a finer taste bud than most scotch drinkers.
Well, no, I only learned that because I drank all of your 15 and then we opened up a bottle of 18 and I could tell the difference between the two scotches.
Yeah, I don't think I gave you the 24-year-old, though. I think I saved that for Ronnie Patrick.
Yeah, you did. You screwed me over. That's the way I...
well, we were celebrating the sale of my business, so it was kind of,
Fine.
Yeah. So I got some questions, Wayne.
Okay.
And I figured I would give you the non-gardening questions.
Oh, okay.
All right. So the non-gardening questions. The first one actually comes from comes from somebody that you know, and the exact question was: Is Wayne sane?
Oh, that's first of all, whoever wrote that question is the most brilliant person I have ever had the opportunity to not know or meet yet. But the question is, I am sane compared to, relative intelligence and relative
Mm,
sanity. Because if you think about the craziest friend you know, the
right.
craziest person in the world, or
Right.
so the figure that 50% of the world is still a little crazier than that person.
Okay.
So if you go by that aspect, I'm probably in the top 25 percentile of sane versus insane. So
No, you're not.
no, I'm saying that I'm 75% sane.
No, you're not.
Oh, I'm not 75% sane?
No. Hello,
Oh,
Valerie.
what sane percentage
Hello,
am I
Leslie.
then?
Oh God, you're so you're like no, you're maybe in the bottom 25%.
So I'm insane.
Yes. You just missed our introductions, Valerie, to our drinks, and we had one question that I've gotten to so far. Which, by the way, Valerie, if you want to send in a question, DM me at any time. We'll read it on here. And in the future, I plan on doing some live streams with people in their gardens and their homes, so both indoors and out. So if you're interested in doing a tour of your garden, give me a direct message. So Wayne is not sane. He's off his freaking rocker. And the reason why Wayne is off his rocker is because while his wife's at work, while he's got his kids, he sits there and sends his wife a text message saying, "Oh, I got a puppy." Not, "Oh, honey, I think I'm going to get a dog." Not, "Oh, honey, we should talk about getting a dog." Just, "Oh, I got a puppy today. And I got him because I traded some Mets tickets."
That story is true. And in addition to the insanity of it, she was actually away on a work trip. And she had just landed, and I sent her a picture of the dog.
Yeah, you
And
brought the dog home.
yeah, I
Like,
brought the dog home.
you didn't even say, "I'm going to get this dog, blah, blah." You just came home with the dog while your wife was away on a trip. And you were just like, "Surprise.
Yeah.
The garden is covered in snow." Well, whenever you want, Valerie. I would love to do a garden tour. I love doing that stuff. So yeah, man, you're off your freaking rocker. Because
And
there's not one guy in the world that I know that would still be alive for doing something, unless they were trying to get divorced. If you're trying to get divorced, it's a different story.
Valerie says I can't do that. Yet I did. And Valerie, just so you know, this was not a small dog. This was not like a little
This
oh,
was a
let me get
horse.
yeah, this was a horse. It weighed 55 pounds. It was a Newfoundland dog. And I'm happy to say, everything worked out. I'm not divorced or anything. We don't have
The
the
dog,
dog.
you don't have the dog anymore, though. She got
No,
rid of that thing.
we got rid of the dog right now. That dog lasted a week before my friend who had many Newfoundland pups during his life had told me, he's like, "Look, if you decide to get rid of the dog, there's a great farm, Newfoundland Association. It actually turns out they're pretty famous on the Northeast. So I actually know the home my dog ended up going to. And, my dog literally went to a farm in Massachusetts. Yeah, those dogs are big, T. Carmona. I put this dog in the front seat of the car in the passenger side, and it would set off our minivan thought it was a human being because it weighed 55 pounds. And in order to make the beeping light stop saying put your seatbelt on, I had to put the seatbelt on behind the dog, and it would ride in the front seat with me. It was the most zen dog in the world. It would just kind of sit there like, okay, I'm just a happy dog going. So I understand though, Sean, how you believe that behavior is not sane.
No, you're off your rocker. Before you go anymore, hi, Ahmed. I just want to say, if a good friend, one of my favorite people, Sweet Brazil Brigadeiro joined, and if she's still on, check her out. She makes these Brazilian desserts called Brigadeiros that are so over the top, and she'll deliver them right to your home in Long Island. I mean, and they're really good.
Really?
So, Brigadeiros, they're just like this wonderful little chocolate hugs and kisses that you just want like 30 of, but it's fantastic. So,
I love a good little hug and a kiss.
It's a chocolate hug and a kiss. So it doesn't get much better than that, right?
Yeah. And yes,
So,
Valerie, it was a small horse. It really, really was. Now we have a much more reasonable sized dog who is fully grown. She is 60 pounds. And my wife, I was not involved with the choosing of this dog. I purposely stepped to the side when my 2 children and wife chose the new dog. Because I was just like, I already came home with a horse. I don't need to be involved with this choice.
So, and then here's a question I got from May, Wayne, that you'll like, are you a prepper?
It's a pretty good question.
If I am the prepper, I am living the most luxurious prepper style like any non-billionaire has ever lived. As you can see, the foliage, no, I'm not a prepper. I am, though, however, very, very keen in making sure that I have fresh vegetables, produce, and meat, anything that I can grow and supply myself for my family. So God forbid the system breaks down. I'm ready, and also it saves me money, and it's cool to learn, and that's an actual statement. You switched R and you. Well, Ronnie, the night started with sake and Thai food. So, and I'm on beer and moving to bourbon. So, no, I'm not. But I am definitely not. I'm definitely. I don't want to be a prepper if there's a nuclear war. I do not want to survive it. I've seen. Here's an '80s reference for you, Wayne. Chud.
Chud. Yeah.
And DEFCON 4, and I don't want anything to do with it. I saw the road. I don't want anything to do with any sort of nuclear fallout and none of that crap.
So you're not going to do any MREs?
No, I mean, listen, if we go Walking Dead style or I Am Legend, I'll be all right. I'll be okay. I can survive that. But if we start talking about like nuclear holocaust, no, it's not going to happen. I don't even want to. I just put a bullet in my own brain.
Well, that's morose.
Oh, really? Do you want to sit there and deal with a nuclear winter?
Look,
I know you already lost all your hair, but geez.
Long Island would be wiped off the face of the earth in a nuclear holocaust. We're too close to New York City. There would be no winter for me to survive. I would be atomized pretty quickly. So I'm not
some really terrible disaster movie. I forget which one it was, but it was just New York and Long Island just being taken out in a tidal wave. I forget which one it was. It was some climate change crap movie, but with bad acting and whatever. But the whole thing was just watching everybody. I remember the scene too because it's Taya Leone, because I still had a crush on her back then, which way back then. And she's like standing out at the beach, and this giant tidal wave just engulfs her and takes out all the East Coast. It's great. It's great.
All right. Next question, unless you're going to refill your alcohol right now.
Hi, buddy.
Oh, baby break.
Oh, hi, buddy. You want to say hi to everybody? Come here. Oh, there we go. There's the star of the show. What are you doing? I don't know. Hello, Griff. How are you? So, okay, next one is, well, we covered this. Do you drink anything but scotch? Most nights I drink tea, but I do enjoy my scotch and occasionally some sake and occasionally this and that. But scotch is generally my go-to drink. What about you, Wayne?
I'm a big I like sake. I drink a ton of water. Sorry, I'm just listening to Peanut.
Yeah, no, I know everybody listens to Peanut, right, buddy?
Yeah, I really don't drink beer that often. I save my drinking for this podcast.
Yeah, I do too. This is my big drinking night.
That's why I'm already on my second. This is why I'm on my second shot.
And this is there's Rachel.
There's
Rachel, everybody.
That's 2 weeks in a row we've gotten to see Rachel.
I know. Rachel never goes on camera. Hi, honey.
Well, I have to say hello.
Hi.
All right.
You gonna take him to bed?
I am. Did you kiss your son goodnight? Did you tell everybody about Patty's special sheets?
I love you, buddy. We're going to play in the morning, okay? Bye-bye.
Say bye-bye. You tell everybody about his special sheets?
We'll get to his special sheets in a little bit. Hello, Jebri. Jabri, 6461. Hello. Yeah, so that was, I forget, I know we were talking about something, but whatever.
We're talking about what we drink.
Yeah,
Whether it's-
so too much.
Yeah. I do prefer the hard liquor because I drink for enjoyment and to take the edge off a little bit. So I found that bourbon and whiskey and scotch are the three that give the most flavor to me and take that edge off, and they fall within a nice price point. Beer, I find, doesn't have enough alcohol in it for me to take that edge off.
For me, beer has got to be a hot summer day, or occasionally I'm in the mood. Like tonight, I just wanted that beer, but I'm, Anyway, so 2 Muddy Waters. Thank you.
Nicely done. By the way, I'm already on my second shot of this.
It's actually really good.
So it's good.
The other thing I was gonna, the next thing that was somebody wanted to know, because I'm not, and you're gonna love this because Wayne is, hello girl. Wayne we have constant battles when it comes to video editing, but this is, what's your favorite band? My always answer is from what decade?
Yeah,
I've passed that stage.
I have 2 bands that I can listen to over and over again. Two albums, maybe 3 right now.
Okay.
Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell, I can listen to all of the time. Bon Jovi, his greatest hits album. And I like Alanis Morissette. I really like her Jagged Little Pill album.
So when I said that you were in the bottom 25% of sane.
Right.
Meatloaf, Bon Jovi, Alanis Morissette.
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, live in Georgia. How are you? Okay. So, well, that's. I'm sure that you and your therapist that's a whole new thing you guys can talk about now.
My God, how do you not like Bon Jovi? His lyrics. Thank you, Valerie.
I love Bon Jovi.
Okay. All
How do
right.
you go from Bon Jovi to Alanis Morissette?
Jagged Little Pill. That album, you ought to know, the greatest breakup revenge song in the history of mankind, written about a member of Full House.
You do know I'm a dude, and I've had that song played for me many times, right?
Right.
It's like the Little Mermaid movie. It's like I've seen that damn movie too many times. I doesn't mean I like it.
Oh, I saw her at Woodstock in '99. It was one of the highlights of Woodstock.
Where's Ronnie? I need Ronnie. I need.
What are your band? What are your musical loves? And I like Wynton Marsalis. Anything he puts out, I like.
Okay. I mean, at least he's talented. Well, Motorhead, of course.
Okay.
Right. Ace of Spades is still one of the greatest rock songs ever made. There is not one person in this world who cannot love Whole Lotta Love, Led Zeppelin. It's just, you hear that, and if you've never heard it before, you'll remember it. And if you haven't, and if you've heard it before, you'll always remember it. Ronnie's an AC/DC man.
Okay.
I can see that. If I want to show my softer side, I don't have to go to the hello, Lavish Bay. I don't have to go to Alanis Morissette. Maybe a little Boston.
Oh, Boston, Bob Seger. Okay, I'm with you there, Val. I'm a Seger fan. Boston is they're like this synthesized sound from a studio.
Dude, it was the 70s, and they had just discovered the sound.
It doesn't make it right.
Dude, that Boston is still one of the best albums ever made.
All right, we will agree to disagree on this musical taste because
Uh-huh.
you would rather play Boston than Bon Jovi.
Okay, it depends. Depends on the day. I said if I was feeling the softer side, I would do that. But no, I mean it just depends on the day.
See, this is one of those
Wolf
things. Like,
Mother. Wolf Mother. Can we agree on Wolf Mother?
I don't even know what Wolf Mother is.
You don't know Wolf Mother?
Ooh. I didn't grow up with music. I grew up with movies.
All right, you have to hang up now, listen
No, I
to it, and then you can dial back.
No.
All right.
First of all, I would attempt to spell it WULF. I like Motley Crue too.
Dr. Feelgood is an amazing album.
Yeah.
All right. The last non-gardening question, Wayne. What is your favorite sport?
Hockey.
Really?
It's the one with the most action, and I can watch with the whole family. Baseball's too slow these days. Football has too many commercials and goes too slow. Basketball is just the same thing back and forth. Like hockey, you can watch a hockey game in a couple of hours still.
Right.
And so I'm a huge fan of that. Danielle's working with the Islanders now. So I'll probably catch them hopefully a little bit more.
Right.
And I grew up playing hockey. Like of the sports that I played the most of, I played hockey the most. So
Cool.
that is my sport. What's your sport du jour?
All right. So this will be the last non-gardening question because we're seeing people tap out. Looks like he is wearing an Islanders or Mets jacket right now. Listen, the one thing about Ronnie, the one thing you need to know about Wayne is, as cheap as Sean is, Wayne is way cheaper. So if there's free stuff that somebody's going to give him, trust me, he's going to wear it.
And I would never wear a Knicks anything.
My favorite sport, because politics has ruined sports, has become Survivor. So that's my favorite sport right now. I'm pretty much, I think I got out of the 40 seasons, I think I've got like 5 seasons left that I haven't seen. So I'm pretty much entertained.
My friend Michael was on Survivor. He
was he the guy in Australia who fell into the fire?
Yeah, how did you know that?
Dude, you think I was kidding when I said, what do you call it?
That was frightening.
Yeah.
Wow. So you read all the...
No, I don't read anything. I just have one of those memories that for some reason I can remember really useless stuff.
You didn't remember my birthday. I can't think of anything more useless than my birthday.
I didn't, trust me, I meant to forget it.
Oh, all right. That's fair enough. All right. Gardening
all
questions.
right. So I gotten through all that stuff. No, honestly, we got gardening questions. What was the one? How often should I fertilize my houseplants and with what? So I do my houseplants. I usually fertilize them once a month. And that's it. Usually see the best results with that. I use fish emulsion. Fish emulsion is pretty much my go-to liquid fertilizer these days. It's got such a high nitrogen count, and it replaces so much of the nutrients that the plants draw out. So in the soil. So it's and using the organics is really the best way to keep the organic material going in the microbes and everything the plants need for the roots. So you don't have to change the soil, because when you have plants as large as the ones that I have in the back, the last thing you want to do is say, okay, honey, I need to pull a hand truck through the house to get these damn things outside to repot them. So yeah, I use fish emulsion. They're all pretty much really good. Master Nursery's got one that's pretty good. You have, I'm currently using a Fertilome because they had a 2-gallon size and it was cheaper than everything else. And then I plan on making my own fish emulsion because, so I have a pond out back here.
Yeah.
And there's fish in the pond. And I think we had a gator come through because I found some floating dead fish that were bitten in half. And so I'm gonna get I got to go get a big 50-gallon drum, and then I'll just throw it in there and stick a spigot on it and make fish emulsion. So that'll save me some money.
Nice.
So yeah, that's what I usually do for indoor plants. I have become a big fan of Super Thrive, and if you haven't used Super Thrive, I would highly recommend it because the vitamin content in there helps the plants process the fertilizer even better and makes them more resistant to diseases that I found. And when you do get mealy, and down here I can't seem to get rid of the damn mealy no matter what I do. Hello, Frankie. It definitely gives them more strength to hold off the insect and the damage that the insects do. So it's been I would highly recommend picking up some of the Super Thrive. I think you'd be happy.
So my question to follow up on that. So I've got
Yeah.
the 2 giant plants that I got from you when you moved down.
You got
to-
fiddle leaf figs.
Fiddle leaf figs?
Yep, Ficus lyrata.
Okay. So should I be fertilizing those once a month?
I would get some fish emulsion,
Okay.
put it in a 1-gallon container, and get your moisture meter and once a month, if the plant needs water, to give it some fish emulsion. The
Okay.
only other way to get all those organic materials and everything back in there that the plant needs, other than changing the potting soil, and I don't think you want to do this,
Ooh.
would be to take like table scraps and put them in the pot and let them rot down and decompose. So I don't think you want to do that, but if you do, you could.
The
You'll
dog
see
would
right-
eat them.
Your dog will be in there so quickly. I'm going to shoot one of my dogs because I have a big giant compost pit and banana plants planted around them. And the dogs keep trying to get in there to get all the crap, and it's just driving me crazy. So, yeah.
Sorry, moving on to number 3 here.
Good job. Cheers. Fun.
Cheers, Salon. Storovia.
Now, I thought this was an interesting question. What is your least favorite gardening book? Like what? Like what do you mean my least favorite? Like what? Like that's what? So yeah, my least favorite gardening book was probably. Let me look on the shelf. Which one did I really hate?
Why would you keep a book you hate?
You never throw out books.
No, you pay them forward.
Frankie
Preferably-
Cilantro.
Preferably to your enemies if you don't like the book.
The worst gardening book I have read was, and I hate to say it because she's a lovely person, Leslie Halleck's Gardening Under the Lights was so freaking dull because it's just all the mathematics of positioning indoor lighting for plants. And it was just, it was nothing I couldn't have learned on a YouTube channel or calling up, a hydroponics company. It was just, I got about a quarter of the way through and I just wanted to burn it.
What's the most surprising thing that you've ever learned from a gardening book where your mind was just blown and you're like, Jesus, I never would have known that?
Okay, from gardening?
Yeah, from gardening.
David the Good's Compost Everything. It's about 60 to 80 pages, maybe 100 pages long. And I learned more in that book than I learned in more useful things in gardening. I learned in that book than I learned in, I would say, a year of horticulture.
Wow.
Everything that you would need to run a successful garden organically in any zone, in any climate, anywhere, and have big, beautiful vegetables and plants is in David the Good's Compost Everything. It's just the best. He is my favorite YouTube guy. I watch him religiously. He's fantastic, which is why I don't do YouTube videos, because I watch him and I'm like, well, there's no reason to, because he's just that. And he's funny too, which is great. I remember we came down here, and Florida is such a different, the soil sucks and you can't grow certain things because of the humidity, but everything from East Asia you can grow. So I've got Thai ginger growing all over the place in lemongrass,
nice.
which is great. I mean, it's great. I don't know a lot of Thai cooking, so I got to learn how to do it. Hello, Ricardo. So I was really struggling because every garden book I have is for the Northeast or it's for England. I mean, that's where it's written for. Even books for California, there's not a lot out there. And I had learned stuff in horticultural, but again, that was 25 years ago. And now I'm down here and there are no earthworms in the soil down here. There's just none. And you sit there and go, geez. And if you don't know how important it is to have your earthworms, the difference between dark soil is, and a dark, good soil you can grow in, and garbage soil is the amount of organic matter, and the earthworms are such a key component to that. And so I'm sitting here scratching my head. I can't get anything to grow. Tomatoes are crapping out left and right. Pretty much everything Rachel and I are trying to grow that's not from Southeast Asia is dying. And I came across David's YouTube channel, and it was like roadmap pointed me right in the right direction on every place that I wasn't looking for information. So, I mean, a guy has just been, he got me, just like I said, I called up my professors back up in New York. I called up one of my growers, and they had no answers for me. So, guy has been great.
So basically, we send you something from Singapore, you're the happiest guy in the world because you can grow that right now.
Mm-hmm. I just got the other day ube yams.
Oh, okay.
The purple yams.
That I know, yeah.
Yeah, I just got those because yams down here aren't affected by nematodes. And you can get some damn big yams. Hello, Florida. You can get some damn big yams growing down here, and these ubes, which are the purple ones, is great. And yeah, so I got some of those. Those are going in March. I'm pretty damn excited about that.
You know what I'm going to do? My buddy...
But sweet. Whereas sweet potato, you have to watch for between the damn deer that'll eat everything, and then you have the nematodes, so you got to kind of move them around and stuff. But the good thing about sweet potato is, and I bet you didn't know, I don't know if I told you this, when your salad greens are no longer, you've run out of your salad greens, it's got too hot, sweet potato greens.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and they taste good. I had some this year. It was great.
Florida
fat plants.
Thank you for...
Yeah, so Chapman and I have been going back and forth. He actually lives, I believe, about 45 minutes to an hour from here. And lovely guy, seems really nice. I'll just bring you up to date. What I was looking to do is maybe some live stream with some people where we can visit their gardens and they can show, basically give a garden tour. And I thought it might be cool. So I'll DM you and maybe we'll set something up if you're interested. So yeah, so that, I mean, that was the best book that I found to help me down here was Compost Everything, because the soil is so bad and you literally compost everything.
Wow.
I mean, we have, everything from tea bags to, all the vegetables to, I'm trying to think, like, what don't I compost? I think the only thing I don't compost is meat, and the only reason why I'm not composting the meat is because I don't want the dogs to get into the pits. But otherwise than that, I would just compost it.
What I'm going to do, my buddy, he has a gin company in Singapore that uses South Vietnam for its factories. I'll get a list of some herbs that are for there that would go well with gin. And then that way you can grow some additional herbs out and have them in your gin.
I know one he's going to talk about is going to probably be Thai basil. Thai basil. Yeah. Dude, Thai basil out here, it doesn't, if I showed you what it looked like, you would sit there and say to me, that's not basil. It smells like basil. It's a stronger taste than the sweet basils. But I mean, the thing will get 3-4 feet in height and width and push off these purple flowers like you wouldn't believe. That's beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah. So I think I got some started. No, I didn't get any yet, but they'll be here.
Oh, all right.
Ah. Let me see, what else? Who is your influences in landscape design? When I first started in the business, I started working for my father, who was probably my first influence. He had the garden center. And when I started with my father, I was just supposed to be doing this until I figured out what I wanted. And then I found out that I actually really enjoyed this. So he was probably my first influence. Then I came across an English garden designer named Alan Tishmarsh, who did a show before they actually had home design shows. And it was on at like 5:30 or 6 in the morning on BBC America. And it was called Ground Force. And I wish I could get those shows. I don't know why I can't get them. I don't know what the contract problem is. But if you want to see the most ingenious small garden designs you've ever seen, this was the show to watch. And it blew my mind because on Long Island, everything was 50 by 100,
Yep.
it was the standard property size. And this guy was taking those English style, which was probably maybe 50 by 100s, and he was just stunning, amazing designs that they were doing. And so that one totally rocked me. That changed it from, okay, I'm doing this to kind of pay bills and figure it I am, to going, oh my God, I want to do what he's doing. And I tried replicating what he was doing in the landscape designs, and some people were happy and some people were like, no, I want it to look like my neighbor's house, which looked like crap.
Yep.
But, that's what you do. And the next one that came across that kind of made me go, wow, I need to rethink what I'm doing was Piet Oldhoff. And he was the guy who did the, God, he's all, sorry, my brain just cut out. The High Line.
Okay.
So
yep.
he did the High Line, and he did the garden in Chicago that's really popular, that the alcohol has just hit my brain, that I will get 60 DMs about how stupid I look right now. But
Well, for those who don't know, the High Line is in New York City, and they took an old abandoned elevated train line where the train used to run, and it runs for I think about 30 blocks, and they turned it into an area where people can walk, they can have their lunch, and it's absolutely stunning and beautiful, the job that they did with that. Where
yeah, if you're going to visit New York, you don't forget about. I mean, go see the Statue of Liberty. Go do whatever you want to do. Do not leave New York without going on the High Line. You will get your best views, best sunset views. It really is an amazing thing. So yeah, so Piet Oldhoff was another big guy, and that kind of changed a lot of what I did. And I used a lot in your garden when we did your garden. I used a lot of his principles in there. And then the last one that kind of rocked my world was kind of a combo, which was Burle Marx and Raymond Jungels. And Raymond Jungels and Burle Marx are like this Brazilian postmodern type of design, very structured, very modernist, which for us up in the Northeast, we kind of look at it, we go, what? Like, but the plant structures don't work with it, right? We just don't have, whereas you come down here and the plants are very angular, they're very sharp edges, and they lend themselves to doing these really cool, linear modernistic type designs, which is why it works so well with the architecture in Miami. So, I mean, I look at Raymond Jungle stuff and I go, geez, that's just quite amazing. But Burle Marx was the guy that really, he designed the Copacabana walk in Brazil.
Oh, wow.
Like if you ever saw that famous beach thing, that was his design. He was one of the first guys to ever design for the cities where you would look down from a high onto somebody's roof, and there would be this garden design, but the garden design was literally set up as a modernist painting. It's such an abstract way of thinking, and so foreign to everything that I taught and everything we do up in the Northeast, that it was just wow. And it's not something you can replicate in the Northeast. You could try, and it'll come out okay, but we just don't have the plant structures to do it. You could do it indoors, but you couldn't do it not anything more than a temporary installation. a permanent installation, it just wouldn't work. We just don't have the foliage for it. So these guys all kind of helped me. So when I was doing like an indoor living wall, I would
Yep.
definitely look in and go, okay, if I was, what did Burley Marks do, and how can I replicate that in some way? And it was a really god awful way of doing what he did, but I would get that done and in there, and the customers seemed to like it, and it made money, so everybody was happy. But when it came to the outside garden designs, it was for the customers that wanted something more than what their neighbor had. I would always go to a Piet Aldorf, which is perennials, things that are going to come back, things that are going to look
Yep.
better 5 years from now than they do even the first year. Different seasons of color. Winter, when the snow has fallen, what's going to look pretty with the fall snow on your perennials that you haven't cut back. I actually did, my first time I ever tried it was Rachel and I built the garden at our house on Long Island, and it was right outside our office, and that was the first one we ever did. And I remember it looked great all season, and we were really happy with it. But in the winter, when the snow fell and the seed pods were still on the Rudbeckia and the grasses were still up because we didn't cut anything back until March, she came over and gave me a big kiss, and she was just like, "You did it, right? Like you did it." So that was a really big deal to me. And then for the standard homeowner, I would sit there and go, okay, well, what would Alan Tishmarsh do? Like would he give him a blue wall and a fountain and some color and this and that, knowing that within about 5 years they're going to sell the house, and that's would work with that. So those are the real big influences there. As I wet my whistle. So here's one last question, Wayne, and
Yep.
I'm going to get a refill while you answer this. Florida
Wait, hold on a
Fairgrounds,
second.
we can grow just about anything here. Light and temperature water makes the Holy Trinity. Learn to view the soil an extension of keeping the
That triangle.
Yes and no. So what I've noticed about Florida, if it's an area where the homes have been there longer, and people have dumped more organic matter in there, that's fine. But most homes here is just about keeping the lawn looking like a golf course for the retiree, which means tons of chemicals in there, no organic matter, and basically you have grass and sand, and that's it's not a dead soil, but it's not exactly conducive to stuff. So, we could talk about it. I just say compost everything, man. Just, as you know, the more you mulch, the more you get the carbon and the biomass down in there. I have just falling in love with getting no lizards. For me is a bad sign. Yeah, no lizards is always a bad sign. One of the first things I had to get used to when I moved down here was getting used to the constant rustling of something, because up north that means you have a mouse. But down here it's like, oh, the little lizard's going to eat some bugs, so I'm all happy about that. No, so the soil is just, I think I told you when I went to the estate sale, I bought those palms and I brought them back, and I couldn't figure out where to plant them. I didn't want to repot them. I didn't want to deal with it. So I have 8 acres of wetlands here, and they're great. So I'm like, I'm going to plant them right on the edges of the wetlands.
Okay.
Well, for as crappy as the soil is for everywhere else on this property, those wetlands is the blackest, best soil with the most organic matter you've ever seen. Why? Well, because it wasn't developed, and all the leaves that have fallen and all the pioneer plants that originally came in had died out, so that nitrogen was in there, and then more leaves that have fallen down, and then more like ferns and stuff, and it just keeps compacting and composting down, and then you get all these little insects that go in there and eat everything and makes all this big, beautiful black soil, and I'm like, I need to take that out of the wetlands and put it in my garden, man, because that's where it's all at. So I need to replicate that. We need to replicate that on the property in areas that we want to plant. So when I talk about bringing the pigs in, or I say I'm going to bring the chickens in, which is just all manure and it's getting mixed in there and it's breaking up the ground and stuff, it's really just composting and composting and composting and composting. And that's where that book from David the Good came in, which is compost everything. And I had, and it was funny because I watched the videos and I turned my wife onto it and she just got all wrapped up with it because he's highly entertaining. And then she ordered the books. Or did I order the books? I don't know. One of us ordered the books, but she read it first. And she was just like, stop playing Civ and stop watching, Star Wars Clone Wars and go sit there and read this book. And man, it definitely changed the way Rach and I garden down here. That's for sure. And we've been far more successful since we've been doing it. I mean, those ice cream bananas they look amazing. And we've had serious frost come through here.
Wait, you were about to kick something over to me. You said I was going to have to deal with something. Somebody wrote in and said, and I know they were asking me, but I'm going to have you do it. Now I'm going to get a refill and I'll answer it. But it's, what do you do? Ha! Yeah, my wife asks me that all the time. I do consulting for businesses. I am an instructional designer by trade. So that means if someone has a employee problem that needs to be trained out of them, some sort of behavior problem, I come in and I come up with a way to train the employees so they start behaving better and doing what the boss wants. Before that, I was a software engineer, and I also do filmmaking and theater, mostly filmmaking these days. So yeah, it's an eclectic collection of chaos and nuttiness. I met Sean when my arm was actually my arm was in a sling when I met Sean.
That's funny.
Did you catch all that?
I'm sorry.
None of that. You caught none of that.
I took my headphones off and went to get a drink. And when I went in there, Rachel gave me this like deer in the headlights look. She was just looking at me. She goes, "What are you doing in here? You have a podcast?" Because she's scrubbing this giant pot because she made lemon curd today.
Ooh, nice.
With lemons from the wild lemon tree. Oh. And then I'm like, "No, I'm just getting a drink." And she's like, I thought you were gonna come in here and ask me a question. I'm like, "No, it's okay." She does know bees. So if anybody wants to know, my wife is a beekeeper.
Yeah.
On our little tiny property up in Long Island, she would average about 120 to 150 pounds of honey per year with 2 hives. And so I know, honey. She wanted me to sit there and point out, we've got 18 acres here. So Rachel's honey farm is coming, and I will be YouTubing this and getting it up because you guys would rather see her than me anyway. So,
well, she is a honeybee, so that is,
that's the queen bee there.
Yeah, my children are afraid of bees, by the way.
Oh, that's just ridiculous.
Well, Tyler, when he was 2, he was standing, we were at a friend's visiting their house, and they had some sort of electrical system.
Right.
So he decided to jump from the edge of something onto the electrical system, and he kind of shortened it so his toes went under it. And that turned out to be that they had a beehive there.
Right.
So he's standing there, and all these bees just come rising up out of the ground and start attacking him. So since then, he calls it the bee house. He's like, "Are we going to visit the bee house this year?"
Yeah, well, when he comes here to visit, I'm going to make him go harvest honey with Rachel.
Yeah, but he'll like that because he'll like, he gets to put on equipment, and it's, it's taking from the bees who attacked him. Yeah, no, he'll be, as long as you have it as a Minecraft problem, he'll do it. By the way, I'm slurring my speech now, so this ought to be good.
Oh, I know.
This is
good. We haven't even hit an hour in it. You're already slurring your speech.
Oh, I'm a happy boy right now.
Okay, so did you tell the people what you did?
I did answer them of what I am. And
hello, cool.
And the number of viewers went down to 0 at one point when I was. No, I'm just kidding.
So what do I do? I do
whatever your wife
this.
tells you.
No, well, that's we all do that. No, I do this. I hang out with my son, and and I garden, and I do research and experiment on this stuff, and I sold my business up in New York, and I sold everything up in New York and moved down here, and kind of live the life that I want to, and then I took that money and I invested it, and so that's what I do. How do you get rid of the bees that are in the ground? Why do you want to get rid of the bees that are in the ground? Hello, Ed Warland. Thank you for joining us tonight. Why would you want to get rid of the bees that are in the ground? So the bees are pollinators. So why would you want to get rid of them? I wouldn't want to get rid of the bees in the ground. I want as much pollinators in my area and in my garden, pollinating everything. They don't have to be honeybees to pollinate. Mason bees, leaf cutters, bumbles. Those are why I want as many bees pollinating as much as I can to give me the best crop out there. Because when I weed my garden, I get stung. Well, don't get down on your hands and knees to weed. Go and get yourself a scuffle hoe or a Korean hoe. And it's a long-handled one where you don't have to get down on your hands and knees, and you don't have to get down in there, and you can rub it through, and you won't damage your plants because it'll work around them, and you won't get stung, and the bees will pollinate, and then you'll be happy because you're going to get all these amazing vegetables and flowers, and the bees will be happy because they're not dying when they sting you, because that's what happens when bees sting.
So you're saying this is Val's fault?
No, I'm saying Val's using the wrong tools while she's gardening.
Oh.
Mm. When you garden, have one of these.
Oh, yep.
Shovel.
What? Did you just have that sitting there?
Yeah, I always have my pruners with me.
That's the most arbitrary thing to have next to you.
Look, I have the plants behind me. What if I see a brown leaf? I got to cut it off.
All right, that's fair enough. Fair enough.
I've also got my seed catalogs here too. So, but even the vibration from the mower attracts them and sting me. You sure they're bees? They're not wasps?
Yeah, that sounds like wasps.
They are falcons. Yes. So hello, Foodie. So here's a really good thing to know. Don't buy the $10 pruners unless you want to buy another pair of $10 pruners the next year and another pair the next year. Get yourself a good pair of Felcos or a good pair of Coronas. And when I say good pair, if you're spending under $30 for your pruners, you will be replacing them every year to year and a half.
I have, since you purchased my pruners and said buy this pair from your garden store, Sean, I've never had to replace them.
Yeah, but you don't garden.
Fair enough.
They don't go bad, Wayne, if you keep them in the house.
Look, they're not in the house. They're out. Danielle does the gardening. The deal that I had, I grew up in Massachusetts, and this is so everyone knows this. When we got the house, my wife Danielle was like, I want to garden. And I said, the garden is yours. I will do everything to support you, but I grew up taking care of gardens. I grew up taking care of lawns. I will happily hire someone to mow my lawn, although I mow it now. And I now take care of the plants with her too and take care of the gardens. And now I want to grow more vegetables this summer. But the moral of the story is last summer I got really into trimming all of the bushes and the trees. I'm hardcore about it. But the $50 ones at least are easy to sharpen and all parts replaceable.
I don't pay retail, so for me it's always been about 25 or 30.
Yeah. Sean, you would be so proud of how much trimming I did last year with my garden shears. That pair that was there.
Well, I'm very happy for you, and anytime you're out in the garden, it means you're not in front of your computer, and so I'm happy about that.
That's true. I do need that.
Yeah, Florida fat plants. Yeah, no, I mean the price can vary, but you don't want the $10 ones. You don't want the $7.99 ones. You want a good pair of. If you're a gardener, you want a good pair of Felcos. That's what you want. You want a little nice thing you can clip on your belt. And the blade goes. You replace the blade, and you pull out your sharpening stone, and you're good to go. That's what you want. Maybe they are wasps. So if the wasps, what do you suggest I do to get rid of them? You know what, Valerie? I will ask the resident bee keeper, and the only person in this house or in Wayne's house who has got her beekeeping certification from Penn State, and then I will ask her, and then she can give me an answer. Or if she's busy, I will DM you with the answer. But I really would prefer it if you didn't throw chemicals down. Wasps usually are usually make their nests above ground, unless there's something I don't know. They could be carpenter bees. But I would have to feign. I'm going to do the most honest and intelligent answer I can give you, which is I don't know. But I will ask and find out.
I happen to have an answer for this, Sean, of how to get rid of wasps, because growing up in Massachusetts, we had them. So what we did was we took a kerosene pump, you pump it, and you point it, and then you throw the match. That's one way to do it.
No, flamethrowers are very effective on wasps and World War II Japanese soldiers. So good job, Wayne.
Yeah, I'm not recommending doing that. That's what my father did. He really kerosened it and burned the wasp nests. God, you gotta love the 80s. Mm-hmm. The other thing I saw was my next door neighbor. We had a wasp nest in between. At the time before I had you take him out, Sean, we had some small bushes in between my neighbor's house and my house, and the wasp nest grew there. So he's a cop. So he lined it up with his wasp spray from about 10 meters and just opened fire on those things. And then sounds like a story. What are you working with? Fiance, is it? Oh. Sorry, I got distracted by the...
I know. It's one day you and I will be able to like multitask this.
Never.
But
Yeah. So he lined it up with the spray, and then he took a hook. He had a hoe, and he pulled the wasp nest out after he had sprayed it like 4 or 5 times and lit the thing on fire in his driveway. And I was like, man, this is the craziest place I've ever lived. So basically, for me, fire kills wasps and undead zombies.
Fire will definitely kill wasps and weeds. So you could probably eliminate both of them. I just don't know if it's a wasp. And like I said, if I could, anytime I could keep pollinators in my garden, I just built. We threw it up on the side of the house here, a little pollinators area, and that was great. Florida fat plants. Yeah, I mean, if she can give me an answer on this one, I'd love to know that. I think my wife has disappeared for the night. I don't know. She's working on something. The one time I need an answer. Oh, there she is. Hi, I need the resident beekeepers.
Yeah, we're vexed.
You free for a second?
Yeah, what would you like to know?
So I have a lady named Valerie who's very nice. She says that whenever she weeds her garden, she gets stung by the bees in the ground. And I was trying to explain to her that didn't quite make sense unless they were bumbles, in which case I said just get a scuffle hoe and take your weeds out that way and you won't do it. But then when she said when they cut the lawn,
Sounds like wasps.
wasps, but do wasps nest in the ground? Oh, they do? Yeah, they're wasps. So go with Wayne's idea and get the flamethrower out.
No,
Well,
she's
it
too...
depends if, wasps will
Hi, Bonsai Pauls.
wasps will nest in like empty tubes, in like hay and like, yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
they're-
Rachel said that it's,
Oh, leaf cutters.
Rachel said that it's most likely wasps. They will nest in leaf cutters. They will, in empty tubes. They'll nest in holes, hoses. They'll nest anywhere. So, yeah, wear gloves and take them out.
Yeah,
Well,
and
are they yellow or are they brown?
Are they yellow or brown, Valerie? I gotta wait for the answer.
Yeah.
But the yellow or brown will depend on what they are.
Well, and also don't forget a wasp, a bee has a bob, so does the stinger go in and stay in, or are they stinging?
So the other thing, Valerie, she said they're brown, and then when the stinger goes in, does it stay in like a barb, or does it go in and then come out?
so what did brown mean? Does it mean they're definitely wasps if they're
She
brown?
said they're brown. Was that wasps? Hornets, maybe? No, hornets are yellow and black. She says it stays in. Carpenter bees, maybe. Yeah, there might be carpenter bees. Hello, Angelica. How are you tonight? Yeah, before you spray anything down, just get somebody to come out and take a look, an exterminator or something. It'll be worth it.
Yeah.
No, she's not down the road. I don't know where she's at, but she said there's snow in her garden right now. So we're not going anywhere. You can go up there, but I'm not going. Maybe they'll send Rach up there, but I'm not going anywhere up there. Angelica's fine art. How are you? Good. I'm glad you're good tonight. So if you don't know Angelica, this is where I get perplexed with gardening questions as I drink too much, and Wayne makes fun of me. So this is kind of where we're at tonight. All right. So
That's
the
an
other
accurate
question-
assumption. Northern Illinois.
Northern Illinois. Yeah, no. Rach, do you want to go up to Northern Illinois? Do you want to go up to Northern Illinois and look at some bees? She said maybe in the summer she'll come up.
Oh, it's beautiful in Northern Illinois in the summer.
Yeah. I answered that one, answered that one. And Angelica is from Indiana, which I've been through Indiana. It's actually, it's flat, but it's beautiful. In the summer, man, I drove through there. Beautiful. I think I've gone through all the questions, Wayne. No, Bibbs. What influences? What do you do? Oh, the last one. Okay, so the last question I got was, and I've had this also come up in, Rachel is so sweet to come over and take a look. Yeah, Rachel's great. What is this here?
Sean and I both married very, very well.
We'll see you guys working with tonight. No, I definitely married up. So somebody asked me, they go, so I've had this question both in the stories was sent to me, and I had a question, and I had a couple of people DM me where they were like, you're so lucky. How did you get your ranch? It looks beautiful. And how we got our ranch was Rach and I decided that we could not live in New York anymore. And we wanted to get out. And my wife is from Australia, so it didn't take much for her to do a walkabout. Hello, Bammer. And if I pronounce it wrong, I apologize. So it didn't take much for me to convince her, hey, we should get out of New York, because those Aussies, they'll just get up and walk. They just go everywhere. I mean, we've been to some obscure places on holiday, like in Costa Rica. We went to some little island in the Bahamas. So we didn't even go to like where the resorts are. We went to, what was the name of the island? We went to so the Bahamas are a whole group of islands. We went to one of the islands where nobody goes, and the whole island is maybe a mile wide. And we rented this beautiful place on Airbnb, and you go out of the house, you go out of this little cottage, which, by the way, the car rental there is like a 1988 Cutlass Supreme.
You can see the road.
And you can see the road through the floor. And
Nice.
so, yeah, and so Rachel, so we stock up at the local grocery, which is reminds you of something from like a Black Hawk Down movie where you're just trying to shove food into the back of the car. And so we get to this house that's a little one-bedroom cottage overlooking the ocean. And I think it was like 125 a night. It's stupid cheap. And it was called Pink Sand Cottage. And we open up the door and you look out and it's this beautiful pink sand, right? And it's just this whole beach. And it's such a great place to go because if you see a person on the beach that day, that was a busy day. Hello, Amy. And so and we the first day we're there, we opened the doors and we opened the doors in this beautiful pink sand and we hear this crunch, crunch, crunch. We look out right at the water, there's parrotfish just crunching on the beach. And we're in heaven and it's great. And then we go to some little coffee place, which I'm surprised is a little coffee place. And it was owned by an Australian. And there was like 2 Australian backpackers there, and then us, and then everybody else on the entire island, except way down south where the golf course and the yachts were, and I'm talking about like a 3-hour drive, it's all natives. And it was cool, man. It was a great place. I mean, we actually thought about buying a place there, but it was just, yeah, so Aussies tend to get around. So it didn't quite take much for me to convince Rachel to get out of New York. I hate the weather. I need warm weather. I'm not good with the cold. And I've been much happier and I don't suffer from seasonal depression down here. So it was kind of easier for me to want to get out of there. I knew for a long time I wanted to get out. And then New York is not very friendly to businesses. So that was another strike. And so, yeah, so it was kind of an easy reason for me to kind of want to come down here. And so I decided when my father passed that I was going to put my garden center up for sale, which we did. And while I was waiting for it to sell, Rachel and I would go out and visit places we might want to live. And we found this place. And thank you, Amy. And so we found this place in 2017. And with yeah, that was it. Yeah, it was beautiful. My wife is showing you a picture of the sunrise. Hold on, she's going to bring it on. Yeah, just you got to put it up here.
That's Pink Sand Cottage.
That was.
Oh, wow.
That was that was Pink Sand Cottage. It was. Anybody wants to go to a place where it's amazingly affordable. If they ever lift the travel restrictions, DM me, and we will get you that place because it was really a special place. If you don't want to stay in a resort, but. So we found this place in 2017.
Well, we
My-
want no taxes.
I don't want to go down to the tax. I don't want to go down the tax and political road. My wife wants me to tell you guys that we wanted to go to a nice, warm, sunny place with no snow and where there was low taxes, and we could live a good life at a cheaper price, which we are. So so on our way down to this place, we were on one of these little prop planes, the puddle jumpers, to take us over there because you can't get there on a direct flight. And somebody sat there and said, well, if you want a place to live, you need to go take a look at Sarasota. And so we found Sarasota that way. We planned our next vacation to come down and take a look, and we stayed here in the worst possible time of the year to ever stay in Florida, which is August. Yeah, it's August, which is just, it's humid, and anybody who lives down here will tell you it's just, it's, if you don't like heat and humidity, you're going to be miserable. But I like it, so it's fine by me. And Rachel's from Australia, and she's like, that's not heat. We're used to 120 degrees with the sun beating down on us, and only the weak people wear bonnets. So yeah, so we found, and then we looked at a bunch of places. We found this place. It was at a discounted price because I'm cheap, and so the only person who's cheaper than me is my wife.
Right, that's not true.
Okay, and only when it comes to real estate. And we found this place, and we made him an offer, which was significantly lower, and with
We negotiated. And they liked it.
Hold on a second. I'm going to say it the way the wife says it.
Fell in love
We negotiated hard. We negotiated hard. Max, the owner, fell in love with us, and so we got it. Hello, Cajun. Cajun Cotton Farms. How are you this evening? So yeah, so we got this place. We bought it. We would come down here on our vacations, and then finally, when the garden center, I sold the garden center. There was no reason because Rachel could work anywhere. There's no reason for us to be there up in New York. And so we saved ourselves 10% in taxes by moving down here. And we love the weather, and we have this beautiful piece of property, and we're near the beach, and the people are nice, and I can own firearms, and I can plant whatever I want to plant. And
And you have a pig.
yeah, it's been great. And I have a pig that I absolutely love more than my dogs. And while my wife doesn't realize it, at some point, there will be hogs coming in.
Nice.
And she's in the process of ordering Easter eggers as far as chickens and some ducks and a guard goose that we have said we will name Wayne.
That
Well,
is
look
the
at him.
important part.
Doesn't he not look like a guard goose? Look at him.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, so there you go.
You know, there is a decision you have to make, though, with your laying hens that my friend just ran into. I had never thought about this. I don't know if you had. His laying hen is gotten older and is no longer laying eggs. So I
Right.
asked, are you going to eat it? You know, and he said it's too close to like a family pet. So
I
he's
don't
not
have
going to,
no problem with that whatsoever.
you're going to eat it, right? That's
Yeah,
what I thought.
if I had, so if it were my decision alone, I would have meat birds and I would have egg layers. But my wife, whom I love more than life itself, said no possible chance in hell are we eating the pets. So she said, hey Martha, so she said once it's got a name, we're not eating it. And so therefore,
Don't
no.
name
But
anything.
that's why I got Hugh Hefner the pig, because Hugh Hefner is going to do all this work for me, which he's so happy out in Rachel's mobile pig pen. And then, so if I do get a hog, I just call the hog, and then, or bacon, because that's what we'll get from him. And we have the other pigs that are the pets, and then it all works out fine.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was that.
We're running a little bit on time here. So
Okay.
so we should come up with some sort of conclusion or moral to this episode.
Moral of this episode is, so I don't know, man. Why does it have to be a moral of an episode? Can't you just enjoy life and be frivolous?
That's the moral right there. Enjoy
Yeah,
life
just
and be
enjoy your life.
frivolous.
Enjoy your life, man. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, so enjoy the moment while you got it. And yeah, and again, so I will sit there one last time and just let me just get this out real quick. Felco pruners, nice holder. Scuffle hoe. Hello, Claire. Hope you're having a good evening tonight. Scuffle hoe to get your weeds out, or a Korean hoe. A good shovel. Don't get one of those little $14.99 jobs at Ace Hardware. Because what'll happen, and I guarantee you, this will happen if you're using one of those cheaper shovels that you get at the cheap hardware stores or at the Lowe's. And we've all had this to us, and my wife will nod. Is you're digging with the cheap shovel, and you're digging, and then all of a sudden you hit something, and then the handle snaps. And then you go out and you have to go buy another shovel. And now you've paid as much as it would have cost you to just get a good shovel that wouldn't have broke it the first time. So get yourself the better tools. They'll last you forever. They really will just last you forever. So good shovel, good rake, and a pair of Felco pruners. So I'm not sponsored by them, but if they want to sponsor me, okay.
Nice. Go visit Real Show Now, RealShowNow, exactly as it sounds.
Hello, Kitty.
We've got the previous episodes up there. There's other stuff to take a view at too. It's where I just post things that I find amusing. that I've built. And even
Yeah,
Sean
so-
laughed when he went there today.
Oh, Wayne's got a cute little episode up that he's been playing around with. Yeah, so if you want to see see these podcasts up on something that's a little bit better than my Instagram page, go check that out. If you have anything you want us to talk about ever on the podcast, just DM me or DM Wayne.
Yep.
If you have any gardening questions, go ahead and DM me. I chase a baby all day, so I have time to answer them. Oh, by the way, hello. Okay,
Mukesh. I can
thank you.
pronounce this. Mukesh Diravat.
I actually sold. I didn't tell you, Wayne. I have a very nice person on here who wanted to buy my dragon fruit that I propagated. So I will be shipping those out this week. It'll be the first time I ever sold plants and shipped them online.
Wow!
I have hit the-
nicely done.
I know I have hit the big league here, so that's pretty cool. So if you guys ever have any questions, feel free to DM me. Hello, Lynn. And the other thing I was going to say is, if anybody out there is interested in doing a garden tour, hi Rachel. If you have houseplants in your house, or you have a vegetable garden or whatever, and you like it, you're proud of it, you want to show some people it, I would love to see it. So DM me.
I would even add one more thing on this, Sean. If you have a plant, because this happened this weekend with Danielle and myself, we were having trouble with one of our plants, and she contacted Sean about it. If you're having trouble with a plant that needs some love,
yeah, you can DM me on that. If you'd like to do a garden tour, an indoor houseplant tour, and show the other people that for some reason follow me on here. I really know it's because of my peanut boy, but whatever. DM me. I'd love to have you guys on here. So thank you guys all for joining and putting up with us for an hour.
And by the way, the final count was 5 shots, Sean. I did
You had 5 shots?
5 this size glasses.
Aspirin and water, my friend.
Aspirin and water. That's the name of my band.
Absolutely. All right, everybody, have a good night. It was lovely seeing you. And again, DM me if you have any questions, houseplant questions, anything you might have missed. And
You're very welcome,
I'd be
Val.
more than happy to help you. Have a good night, Val. Have a good night, Florida Flat France.
Oh,
and thank
sorry.
you, everybody.
And we'll be back in next Tuesday at 8:30 again. We should say that part too.
We'll be doing this